back with another video, and it looks like Botch and Bitter is now Botched and PÄY0LA. Okay? Before we get into anything, like, comment, subscribe to the channel though. But with that being said, Botch and Bitter with PÄY0LA may have to come to the front of the congregation because it has been revealed that Cardi B's new single, Outside, is on multiple playlists on PÄY0LA, which is possibly the reason why it did 60,000 streams in the US PÄY0LA, and then also 1.3 million on global PÄY0LA, and will be receiving 50 million airplays on the radio, okay, allegedly. Now, Cardi B has now since apologized to Tlantic Records for publicly humiliating them a few days ago, or I think last week, after she has received heavy PÄY0LA for her new era.
Publicly apologize. I'm going to publicly apologize because I'm not going to hit them up personally. I'm going to publicly apologize to Tlantic because, like, I was being very bratty, very mean, very nasty, because I really didn't want to drop this song, but they was like, no, bitch, you gonna drop this fucking song. And it's like, I was giving so much pushback, but we dropped it. We compromised, we dropped it, and it's going amazing. And I know they have a big I told you so moment, so I'm just gonna publicly apologize the same way I publicly went to Twitter, like, we gonna see. So I'm gonna be a woman and do that.
Now, if you guys remember, Cardi B went off on Tlantic Records, I believe it was last week, and she said she was going to expose them. But that never happened because obviously she knows she was never going to really spill the real tea about how they was finna shelf her ass. So with that being said, she was forced to give an apology, but it seems as though she's in better spirits now that the PÄY0LA has been added to her new song Outside. But unfortunately, they might have to up the PÄY0LA because Cardi B's Outside has exited the global PÄY0LA chart on June 21st on its second day of release. The song is aiming for a top 25 debut on the Hot 100, but Garbage Gang wants it to go top 10. Okay? So even though they added the PÄY0LA for the first day the single came out, they might want to up it a little bit because it seems as though it's not staying on the charts consistently on PÄY0LA. And this just kind of tells me, which I already knew, that Cardi B's numbers are not completely organic. No shade. Now, is Megan Thee Stallion being sabotaged? A lot of fans are upset with Megan Thee Stallion's label. She is under Warner. She has a distribution deal with Warner. And Devil Nation, fans are calling them out saying that, you know, Megan Thee Stallion, her music is flopping and they're worried about Act 3. Allegedly, Megan is trying to get out of her deal with Warner, okay? Because I heard it's a short-term deal. It's not a long-term deal. So she's trying to figure out how she can get out of her deal with Warner. Even though it's just a distribution deal, it's still a deal. And they did give her money. Okay? She did get an advance from Warner. And they do make money off of her music. That's how a distribution deal works. You know, the label still gets its cut. Now, with that being said, I don't think it's Warner's fault. I actually blame Devil Nation because I feel like when Megan signed to Devil Nation, her music got worse. It wasn't that great before, but it's only gotten worse since she got with Camel Face and Devil Nation. But I think also it's Megan Thee Stallion's fault because she works with the same 3 producers. You know, the big producers like DJ Mustard, Metro Boomin, Mustard on the Beat, they're not giving Megan Thee Stallion any free beats unless she popped that coochie. Let's be very clear. So, you know, with that being said, she's going to have to stick to those 3 producers, Do the Wanna Beat, Hit Kid. She's going to have to stick to them. Even though allegedly she was sleeping with one of them, according to Partisan Fontaine, you know, the beats are cheaper if she works with those type of producers. She can't work with Metro Boomin. His beats cost too much, okay? So I do understand, you know, why her music has kind of been stagnant, have shown no growth. But I feel like that could low-key be the end of a Megan Thee Stallion run. I feel like she had a little bit of a run from 2019 to 2021. And ever since then, it's kind of been crickets when it comes to making hit records. She put out a lot of buzz singles, but a hit record, she hasn't had that in a long time. Now, it has been announced that Cardi B has beat out the racist Morgan Wallen and has reached #1 on Apple Music. And that is due to the new PÄY0LA that she is getting. So congratulations to Botch and Bitter on that. Now, Rihanna intentionally avoids Tyla at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, okay? As we know, Rihanna, she got honored. And with that being said, it was promoted as Tyla would be presenting Rihanna with her award at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. But with that being said, unfortunately, Rihanna accepted the award on a green screen. Okay? Which honestly, I'm not shocked about, because Rihanna really don't pop outside like that to the award shows. But with that being said, though, a lot of fans noticed that this green screen was kind of recorded months ago. But it's not like it happened last year, but it was recorded while she was pregnant a few months ago, because she had a similar hairstyle, okay, to another green screen video she did promoting the Smurfs. A lot of fans are wondering, why didn't she show up, especially considering that she's being honored. Now, I think she didn't want to see Tyla. To me, it was given, I don't really want to see Tyla. They told her months in advance that Tyla will be hosting the Nickelodeon Kid Choice Awards. She was like, oh, nah, I don't really want to be in participation in regards to that, because she and ASAP the Colorist could have done the red carpet with their children for that type of show, because it is a kid's show or a kid's award. But because she don't really mess with Tyla, and I've been telling y'all that, she probably was like, I'm not showing up at all. Okay? So I think she was trying to avoid Tyla. They told her months ago that Tyla was going to be hosting, and she was like, nah. And this is why I said Zendaya or somebody else should have hosted the Kid Choice Awards, not Tyla, okay? Nobody's even talking about the Kids' Choice except for the fact that Rihanna got honored. Nobody cares about that award show. So I feel as though they should have had somebody that has like a Disney Nickelodeon background host, and that would have brought in more viewership. I don't think people care about Tyla as much as people try to make it seem on social media. Y'all don't even buy her music. Her last single flopped. So I just feel like they should have came up with somebody else. I think if Zendaya had hosted, Rihanna would have been there. And Zendaya is popping. Everybody loves Zendaya. Now, moving on from that, Doja Cat fans are clowning Cardi B, okay, which is honestly shocking. But they are saying that Just Us, which is Doja Cat's collaboration with Rack Harlow, did 2.18 million for his first 24 hours on PÄY0LA, while Cardi B Outside did 1.3 million. Okay. And then also, the Cardi B fans are clowning Megan Thee Stallion. The Cardi B fans were saying that, Outside with no music video debut at number 20 on the US PÄY0LA, while Megan Thee Stallion's Whenever with a music video and Coachella Hype debut at 157 on the US PÄY0LA. And this goes back to why I feel like Cardi B and Megan don't really like each other, because I feel like Cardi B sees her fans dragging Megan and she don't say nothing. Never do. She keep it mute and keep it cute. She never stick up for Megan when the fans be dragging her. But with that being said, Megan drops more than Cardi B. That's why a lot of times her songs don't do well, because she oversaturates. to be quite honest, Megan should have went on a musical hiatus. She didn't really need to drop a song, this year, especially if it was going to sound like the rest of her songs. And this is what I said before, that she hasn't really evolved as an artist, okay? Her music has gotten worse since she's been with Devil Nation, okay? And I also think, now that I'm thinking about it, her mom, rest in peace, Holly, she used to write for Megan Thee Stallion. So that could be another reason why her music is not the same. Cardi B has Partisan Fontaine writing for her, and also her new writer, Cameron, who is a rapper. So with that being said, Cardi B got people writing for her actively, and that's another reason why her songs better perform. Now, moving on from that, it has been reported that for Act 3, Queen Bee will allegedly be sampling or doing a collaboration with TLC, Chili, and T-Boz to pay tribute to the late Left Eye, okay? And so allegedly for her next era, she would be going back to her R&B side, even though it's technically supposed to be a rock album, but maybe she's doing rock, jazz, and R&B. And with that being said, she allegedly will be sampling Escape, SWV, and Vogue. I feel like, I don't know if I care about her doing all of that. But one thing Queen Bee like to do is sample. So I can see her sampling TLC or something, because one thing she liked to do is sample a song, child. She always sampling. That's one thing Queen Bee just can't stop doing, which I don't mind. All artists sample, but I feel like she do it a little bit too much. I feel like she sample all the time. And the thing about Beyonce is that I also feel as though I'm happy that you want to pay homage to R&B artists, right? But I just feel as though, when are we going to get complete original music? Okay? You already be getting hella writers on a song. Are we ever going to get original music from the queen of music? Okay? I feel like you can't really be the queen of music if you sampling all the damn time, got so many damn collaborations, and a hella writers. I just feel like it just don't add up, in my opinion. But I'm still here for Act 3. I feel like Act 3 is going to dominate like Act 2 and Act 1 did. But also Queen Bee, Parkwood Entertainment. I know y'all made hella money off of Act 1 and Act 2. Y'all made guap. We need music videos. I'm tired of the no music video game from Beyonce. She need to stop being lazy. Okay? Her injury to her foot or knee, whatever, has nothing to do with her making music videos. I don't want to hear no excuses talking about, we want the audience to focus on the music, which in my opinion is an excuse, okay? Because I just feel like you can put a visual out. Now, moving on to Scratch Off. Scratch Off got to come to the front of the congregation because Pluto, who made that hit song with Whammy, I think that's the song that she made. I don't really listen to her like that, but she is taking shots at Scratch Off because Scratch Off was supposed to be on the Web Whammy remix, was replaced by Sexy Red. Allegedly, Scratch Off declined to be on the remix. But with that being said, let's take a listen to what Princess Pluto said. Now, Pluto said in the song, if you couldn't really understand, she said, B word, I'm Big Mama. You claiming you the hardest, check the stats. Okay? Now, I'm looking at the stats, and I'm like, you only got one hit. And Scratch Off only got one hit. So y'all equal, in my opinion. Scratch Off, one hit was, what was that song? Low Energy. Okay, mostly because of the Queen of Christmas sample that was on it. But you only got one hit, and it didn't even go top 10 on the Hot 100. So I think a lot of these female rappers, they get one little buzz single, one little hit, and their head gets big-headed. They need to remain humble because Pluto won't be here for the long haul. I can see her career kind of ending, no shade, in the next 2 years, just like Ice Spice. See, Ice Spice started getting big-headed, and look what happened with her. Okay, y'all gotta pipe down before y'all get wiped down. Now, moving on to SZA. SZA previews some new music. I'll just have y'all take a listen. So, I don't know. I don't like the beat. I don't know. I don't like the beat at all. And I'm not crazy about the song. I think the song sounds okay. Not something I would push as a single. Definitely not. But I kind of feel as though, in my opinion, that some, not all, because I like SZA, but some of her music starting to sound the same. Okay? Like, it's like the same type of cadence, same type of melody. It's just me, but I feel like some of her songs are starting to sound the same. I think she needs to step it up a little bit, in my opinion. Okay, try something different. Now, DJ Head mentioned that PG Lane was filming everything at Kung Fu Kenny's The Pop Out event, which happened last summer. And there's still a lot of behind the scenes footage that hasn't surfaced yet. A lot of people are speculating that Kung Fu Kenny is working on a documentary. Okay. Now I can see Kung Fu Kenny doing a documentary. Do I think it would be better than Kanye West's documentary? Probably not. Kanye, even though I do not really like him as a person, he did this like 3-part Netflix documentary. I think it was a few years ago. And that was the best documentary I've ever seen from an artist ever. It was better than Homecoming, in my opinion, and I liked Beyonce's documentary. But it really showed his day-to-day. Working as a producer at Rockefeller, when he was getting snubbed by Dame Dash and Camel Face, when they was treating him like a little man, like he couldn't rap. And it shows all of that. It shows when his mom passed away, when he married Kim. He doesn't really talk about Kim in the documentary, but it shows a lot of different eras for Kanye. Not just like, the fame era. Before he became really big, it shows a lot of different eras. So, I don't think Kung Fu Kenny will be able to top that, because I don't think he has enough footage for all of that. A lot of people start filming themselves when they get to the top. Kanye, because he's a narcissist, he's been filming himself even when he wasn't at the top, but it worked out in his favor. So, I would definitely watch a Kung Fu Kenny documentary, but I just don't think it will be better than Kanye West's documentary. But I still will watch it. Now, moving on to Off the Cheat and Jid's Bodies. It earned 793,000 streams in its first opening day on PÄY0LA. In my opinion, this song is fire. I think this is one of Off the Cheat's best singles he's ever put out as a technically solo artist. But I just don't think that the general public cares. But 700,000 streams or 793,000 streams on PÄY0LA ain't too bad for him. I thought it was going to do way less. But anyway, I got some very hot tea on Patreon. Link will be in the description. And I hope you have a great day.